The Bad Boys podcast is brought to you by Iconic Motor House, the guys making your motoring fantasies a reality. Visit iconicmotorhouse.com.
Today on the show, we get fired up with China's new supersonic jet.
We chat with the creator of Ozark and the new Liam Neeson film, Blacklight.
And the rich and famous get scammed by a teenager to the tune of $6.35 million.
All that and more on the Bad Boys podcast.
If you want the hard-hitting journalism of Four Corners, the reliable current affairs of, well, a current affair, and the planning that goes into classy shows like The Project, then you've tuned into the wrong podcast. It's comedy, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and news stories that makes Fox News sound like an episode of The Muppets. Or maybe it's the other way around. Conversations no one wants to have, but everyone wants to hear. This is the Bad Boys podcast. You complained last week because I wasn't dancing enough.
Yes, but I didn't mean dance like a bloody drunk, I don't know, disabled
like
monkey
sim.
that just, I don't know, there's just something wrong about it. There's no sense of rhythm. You're like all over the place, like you're inebriated or something.
You haven't seen me on a dance floor.
Fortunately not, although that would be entertaining. That would. Although if we ever posted anything like that on social media, I reckon people will be calling us for it to be cancelled.
Yeah, I think so. It'd be like, can we take our podcast off Apple, please? Otherwise, we'll remove all of our dancing memes.
Like, I mean, seriously, I've seen some really talentless monkeys dance better than that.
I was just bopping to the music. It's called bopping.
Yeah, but it was bad, man. It was really bad. But I suppose I do it, and it's not much better. So I really can't talk.
It's like, have you ever heard like these songs that have what they call syncopated rhythms? I think Dylan did some on his, or Bowie did some, where the music's like the beat starts out, or the tune sort of starts out right, but then it kind of gets out of kilter with the beat.
Yeah, I never understood it.
Yeah, and I'm listening to this guy. I'm listening to these songs. I'm like, oh my god, this is really doing my head in, because my OCD really sort of kicks in.
Oh, not just OCD, but the whole premise of music is centered around the regularity of the beat.
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately speaking,
and it was going completely against that. So that's kind of me dancing. It's like I'm sort of dancing on the offbeat.
When I was younger, I used to.
It's called improvising.
I had a friend, and she was gorgeous, and she was lovely, and she's an airline hostess now. And I used to win free tickets to all of these different things around Sydney, and she was the one I'd take. So I'd call her up and go, I got free tickets to jazz down at Strawberry Hills Hotel, or, whatever like that, blah, blah, blah. And she'd go, oh, yeah, great, let's do it. That's awesome. And as it turned out, I was kind of secretly in love with her. I had no idea that, as it turned out, she kind of liked me too. And, of course, I never put two and two together because I'm a fucking moron when it comes to women, right? Anyway, I won these tickets to an acid jazz event at Strawberry Hills Hotel, which used to do all of this jazz and stuff. And I'm thinking, that's great. I've been there before. It was really awesome stuff. Didn't have a clue of what acid jazz was.
Try dancing to that shit, right?
Oh, well, for starters, you can't. And two, acid jazz is effectively, I don't know, half a dozen guys on a variety of different instruments. All of them, they've got to be completely on acid, because they're all playing different songs with different beats and different tunes and all that sort of stuff all at the same fucking time. Like, jazz has a beautiful feel to it. I used to play a lot of jazz with my clarinet.
Yeah.
This acid jazz, it was impossible. It was literally impossible to listen to and stuff like that. So I ended up by saying, oh, do you want to get out of here and stuff? Which I think she meant that was the olden day equivalent of let's Netflix and chill. And, of course, I didn't know what that meant, so,
So all you did was just get out of there and drop home.
We got out of there and we went to grab a bit of dinner and went for a walk and stuff like that. Anyway, acid jazz, don't do it.
Were you awkward as a teenager?
When it came to women, yeah, absolutely, I was. Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong, I had my successes and stuff like that, but that was usually when the woman said to me, "Hey, are you going to fucking kiss me or not?" Which, strangely enough, is exactly what Michelle said to me as well, my current partner.
Oh, it must be a thing, eh?
Well, obviously, I'm very kissable. These beautiful, plump, full pouted lips.
Or just dumb as dog shit and don't read the signs.
Right, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I'm bloody hopeless. I've got a mate of mine as well, Sam. He's a great guy and stuff like that, and he is gorgeous as anything. The women literally trip over themselves in front of him, and he's got no idea. Never has had, never will have. Really dumb as a fucking post.
Speaking of OCD and uncoordinated and all of that sort of thing, we are actually going to be bringing on the creator of the director of this brand new movie that's come out starring Liam Neeson called Blacklight, and Liam stars as he's a guy with OCD.
Yeah, he's kind of like a mercenary, but with OCD. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was great seeing him doing, and we had the privilege of actually seeing the movie the other night before we interviewed Mark Williams, who is the director and also the creator of one of my favourite shows of all time, Ozark. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's great. I'm actually partway through the latest season of Ozark and losing my shit very, very fast.
It gets better.
But this guy also was the producer on The Accountant with Ben Affleck.
On The Accountant.
And I understand he's also making The Accountant 2, which I think is awesome because I actually really like The Accountant because the main guy there was a highly trained mercenary as well, but he had quite, I'd say, medium functioning Asperger's as well.
Asperger's?
Asperger's.
Or Asperger's.
Asperger's, yeah, whatever's. And
Asperger's.
And he's also the producer of Honest Thief, The Marksman.
Yeah.
A bunch of other stuff as well. Like, this guy really has been around the traps for quite a long time, since the 90s. Yeah. And really knows his stuff.
We caught up with him about the new movie and everything else that he does. And I found it really interesting watching that movie, that seeing Liam Neeson playing a character who was a real person with a real problem.
And like relationship OCD. Problems and stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's like, and I personally, I found it was quite good to see like an actor playing that role, like especially with I've got a little bit of OCD. I've got to say.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure a little bit OCD. If a dishwasher is not packed correctly, I will repack it.
Your record collection, mate. Your vinyl collection. Is it alphabetical? Is it subject?
No, it is autobiographical.
Far out.
So it's in the order that I received it.
There you go.
Anyway.
That must make it impossible to find things.
Oh, no, I know where everything is.
Yeah.
No one else does.
Yeah,
but right. the other, I think I got that one in 1981. I'll have a look. But the other problem that I always have is when I'm the odd occasion that I'm hanging clothes out on the line, the pegs have to match.
Interesting.
If the pegs don't match, I will hunt around for a matching peg, or I will take a peg off something else and put it onto that.
There you go. Do you know how I overcome that exact same issue?
How?
I use a dryer.
Don't do the washing. I use the dryer.
We don't hang clothes up. Put it all through the dryer so it's fluffy and fresh.
We do, and that's my little problem. But
I like the movie. I like to think they have a particular scene in there that I think is absolutely spectacular that has never been done before, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
never been done, and we'll talk about that after the interview. Yep. We spoke with Mark about that, and you gave away a little bit of a secret that he didn't want to share.
Yeah, as it turns out, he told me to shush. That's right. Yeah, which is kind of cool, actually. Like, I was really pleased with that. And
good eye for detail.
Listen to the interview. You'll hear all about it.
So that's coming up, and we also have 5 double passes to give away to see the new movie Blacklight as well, which is out now at the cinemas. So make sure that you stick around at the end. We're going to give you the link where to go to enter in the draw for that. Before that, China has come out with a brand new jet, and this sort of blew me away a little bit. But apparently they have a jet, a hypersonic plane that is capable of flying between Beijing and New York, wait for it, in an hour. 1 hour. Now, that's 7,000 miles distance.
An hour.
Which means that it can fly at 7,000 miles per hour.
All right. I think we should register you as one of the test flight dummies.
Well, now, okay.
Because there's no way in hell I'll be getting in that thing. China probably built it based on the lowest cost supplier. And that shit's going to be falling apart halfway through the air, I reckon, at 7,000 miles an hour.
Well, actually, okay, all right. It's actually not created yet.
Oh, so they haven't built it yet, so it's completely hypothetical.
We have plans for a plane that's going to fly that distance. So now,
and Musk has plans to put humans on Mars as well. And he has plans for them to survive.
So this is being called a rocket with wings, right? Now, okay, just imagine, right, some poor Chinese sucker that's sitting there that's just been enrolled because, you know, they live for the company over there, just been enrolled in this new program to test this plane.
Yep.
You're going to be the very first person to go up in this plane that's going to go at 7,000 miles an hour. Yep. What are the chances of that thing blowing up or hitting the ground at some incredible speed?
You know, look, a couple of things. First of all, are they going to get any decent food on the flight at that speed? You know, or is all the food going to be constantly pinned to the back of the plane? But imagine being the guy who has to test the front of the nose of the plane.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who's strapped to the thing taking readings for airflow and all that sort of stuff at 7,000 miles an hour and stuff like that. He's going to be having a rough old time.
I've just got this picture in my head at 7,000, which is what, Mach 7?
Oh, yeah, look, I don't know whether Mach 7's 7,000 miles or 7,000 kilometres.
Okay, so whatever, it's fucking fast. And at that point, the pilot is going to look over at the co-pilot and it's going to have this massive grin on his face, but it's actually not a normal grin. It's just that all of his skin has been sucked back by the speed of this plane.
Yeah.
I know what I'm like on those stupid rides.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, so max speed is about 768 miles per hour. So it's about Mach 10 that these things would be going at.
Bloody hell.
But there's a big problem. From what I understand, China has made a big mistake in the design of their planes.
Why is that?
They're not reusable.
They can only use them once.
Right, they only use them once because they have to crash land them every single time. Let's just say they still think that they're going to create an industry out of it because because of course China controls the narrative like Australia and the US have been doing lately as well. But effectively every time one crashes, which will be every time, they'll say it was a successful landing and any mention of it crashing is just Western propaganda.
That's right. Now, it actually has 3 feet or legs that come from the back.
Right.
So
it's a rocket that lands on its side.
Yeah.
Wow, how does that work?
Apparently. But do you remember the Concorde?
Yes, no.
Whatever happened to that?
Well,
I mean, it was going so well.
Yeah, it was going really, really well. Look, the Concorde was expensive to run, expensive to maintain, and expensive to fly in as well. The Concorde ended up by rupturing a tyre on the thing that ripped an engine out, and it ended up by crashing, killing everybody on board, is my remember. And then they said, no, it's never going to fly again as a result. Personally, I think that they were looking for reasons to shut it down because it was so expensive.
Yeah. See, we shouldn't be flying that fast. Then again, we shouldn't be flying too slow like in Zeppelins either because they have just as...
We all remember Hindenburg, don't we? That's right.
Spectacular fiery balls of, of excitement. Yeah.
Have you been watching my OnlyFans page again? Seriously. Big balls of fiery excitement. That's what it's called. But, okay, so Shane's lost it. But see, this is the thing. So SpaceX as well was trying. Part of the reason why they're using reusable technology and everything like that is for the practical application of domestic travel throughout the world. Now, I use the word domestic for SpaceX because, of course, SpaceX also want to go into world to Mars and everything like that as well. So,
I'm still thinking about your fiery balls of excitement.
So yeah, they were talking about the fact that they could use one of the SpaceX rockets to go from Sydney to New York or Sydney to whatever and get there quickly and everything like that. And of course, they would be reusable. Part of the issue though with the SpaceX design though, and this was a big issue, is the big rubber slippery dips that have to come out in the event of an emergency. They weren't long enough.
Oh, really?
Well, think about a big rocket ship and stuff. Everybody's up near the top in the rocket ship because all the bottom is the fuel load, and the little things came out. So people were great. They were having a great little slippery dip off the thing in an emergency situation, but then they plummeted to their death 300 metres below.
Yeah, watch that last 300 metres. It's a killer.
Yeah, that's right. It's not the fall that kills you. It's a sudden stop, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to catch my breath after you.
Yeah, I know, that's what she said.
Fiery balls of excitement.
Well, exciting news.
What's that?
All my extra pairs of Man Up Down Under underpants have arrived.
Nice.
It's awesome. So, heard the ad, went and bought a week's supply for my junk. Can't go wrong now. All my boys, they're extra versions because I bought something for my sons.
Are you talking about your sons or your boys?
Yeah, I'm talking about my sons, not my junk.
My boys have got extra support.
Right, no. So it's really cool. So they've got 4 main colours, right, with the Man Up Down Under gear. And we've got 4 boys in the house.
Yeah.
Including myself. And so each of us have got a different colour. So whenever we're doing all of the folding of the laundry and stuff like that, Michelle probably does a bit of it. She puts a podcast on and she just goes away on auto control and stuff like that, autopilot. And she's always asking me, whose is this? Whose is this? Whose is this? Because, of course, it's hard to keep track of with 4 men in the house. So now she knows one's got yellow, one's got green, one's got blue, one's got that sort of pinkish colour.
So you're like Charlie Brown with your undies.
Right. I don't know why Charlie Brown is even talking about undies, but yes, I'll say
Charlie Brown always wears the same clothes. You remember that? That?
Oh, he does. Yeah, he does always wear the same clothes.
Or Bart Simpson always wears the same clothes.
Well, when you buy a week's supply as well, and we wash more than once a week, like let me just add that out there. But the idea is you buy a week's supply, it means your junk has got the best gear available to you. Because those Man Up Down Under undies, they're made of bamboo and stuff like that, which is super soft and it breathes and all that sort of stuff, which is amazing. But it really does cup your junk like the soft hands.
Yep.
Angel, they are so comfy.
Very comfortable. Yeah.
So, can't go wrong.
I have to say I do need more than one colour.
Oh, really?
So So you're like
ethnically diverse in your underpants range.
Yes. I'll just have the darker colours things. Oh my God.
So did you go with the ones with the extra front padding?
The extra front
like a woman's padded bra, like the padded undies?
I don't need them, no. Don't need them.
No, that's right.
Actually, I do.
I had to go with the extra padded socks. Anyway, look, go to manupdownunder.com.au, grab yourself a week's supply for your junk. You will not regret it, promise you.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast. Welcome back to Bad Boys Podcast. Well, he's been responsible for some of the most iconic shows of the last 10 years. The Accountant, The Honest Thief, and the smash hit series Ozarks. Director Mark Williams is back with a killer new movie called Blacklight starring Liam Neeson, who's an FBI cleanup guy with a serious OCD issue. Mark Williams, great to have you on the Bad Boys Podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to hear your voices in that Australian accent.
Yeah, that's probably the first time we've heard that, I think, but we'll take it anyway. Thank you.
Now, before we talk about the brand new movie, Blacklight, we've got to say it is an absolute honour to be talking with one of the creators of one of the most iconic TV series of all time, in my opinion, Ozarks.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I can't say I can complain about the success of Ozark. You never know when you're going to get something right, but I feel like we got it right.
Absolutely. Big fan.
Did you know, as you were creating that, and I guess this goes for any sort of film that you're doing, is there something that is happening during that production that you go, oh my God, I think we're onto something here?
You never know. I guess you always hope, and I think that's what keeps people's dreams alive, and that's why people do what they do to get their movies or TV shows made. You have to believe, because it's so hard and nothing's easy about the process from before it starts to while you're shooting to editing to releasing it. Everything has got its challenges. So I think it's more about a belief in what you're doing, and it could be something special. And by the way, it is, no matter what it is, it's something special for you, because this is a hard job. So you need to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, you should probably pick something else.
Yeah, because you're putting months and months of your life into this one sort of film that's going to come out, or series that's going to come out. It must be a fairly nerve-wracking experience as a director to pour your heart on the sleeve like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's oftentimes years. And at some point you just go, I did what I wanted to do with it. Yeah. This is what it is. And here you go. And you're not going to please everybody. It's just there's too many people, too many opinions in the world, and everybody's a critic. So it's okay. At the end of the day, if you're happy with what you're putting out, I think you should be happy that you did it and you made it this far. Obviously if people stab you, and they're going to stab you, and it is what it is, but you keep moving on and go from there. And you will hopefully, entertain some few people, which is what I'm trying to do, is entertain people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Totally understand.
So the new movie Blacklight, and we're talking about, when you're writing something, you think, am I going too far, or is this going to work? I think this is probably the first movie that I've seen that includes a dump truck chase scene. I've been racking my brain to see if I could think of any other dump truck chase scenes, but I've got to say it works. I mean, what an absolute havoc.
It really does.
I was trying to think of how to compare these two characters' wants and needs, and I try to come from character on anything that I'm working on, because again, an action scene is an action scene. So at the end of the day, we've seen them before, but have you seen this character do that action scene, right? And so, for me, it was Dusty wanting to get his message out no matter what. And how can I demonstrate that by his actions, not only his words? Yeah. And then meanwhile, you have Liam's character, Travis Block, who his job is to catch this guy, but he also has OCD and wants to protect this beautiful car that he loves. And so he doesn't want it to get damaged in the middle of this mayhem, right? And so really it was about what two things can I put together and unleash. And then that's how it all came about. And then
it's funny, in the movie, I'm sitting there going, just hit him. And my partner says, but then he's going to damage his car. And it is a dump truck after all.
You can't stop it, right? There's nothing you can really do to stop that thing. And so that is the challenge of how do you even end this chase? Yeah.
Okay. So the location for that particular scene, that looked like Canberra to me.
Oh, secrets.
It was. We shot the majority of the movie in Melbourne, which was fantastic. But Melbourne, you have streetcars, you have lines over all the major streets, and it's also very crowded and busy, and so it's hard to lock down that many streets. And what we really wanted to do was shoot this for real. It wasn't like, let's put a lot of visual effects into this. Let's just get a dump truck, get the Challenger, put a bunch of stuff in the middle and go through it, which is really challenging to do in this day and age, and be safe and everything else. Yeah. I did have the benefit of Guy Norris, who's a legend when it comes to these kind of car chases. He does all the Mad Maxes and whatnot. Yeah. So he helped design it. And I was actually in Canberra before I'd shown up in Melbourne, because it was during that awkward COVID. Victoria was closed. So I ended up staying in Canberra for 10 days, just in a hotel waiting to see what was going to happen. And so I walked the loop, and I invited Guy to walk that loop downtown Canberra with me. And it looks like Washington, D.C., and it was wide open streets, and the government was just so generous to us to say, you want it? And so we're like, yeah, we'll take that. And they gave it to us for 4 days and just let us do everything. And we just did it for real, which is insane, really.
That's awesome. It was nice to see an old stomping ground actually being put to something really useful. And also you notice the difference between what I would call an old style theme as opposed to a CGI heavily influenced theme as well. I think the old school way of doing it with real action and real stunts and all that sort of stuff is 10 times better.
It also fits the movie. You know, we wanted to make it feel like a real event and real life. So it was helpful to have things that were real and and push the envelope a little bit.
Nice.
You mentioned Mad Max and working with someone from Mad Max. That is actually probably the only other movie that has trucks of that size in chase scenes.
And I had the drivers from Mad Max. So it wasn't just he brought his team in, which was fantastic. So our garbage truck driver, stunt driver, he's been driving these things for forever. And I was asking him to do things that were very dangerous, and everything that you saw him do, he did it. There was no trickery to, and I won't want to spoil it, but that's obviously he did that. And then the driver who drove the Challenger, I mean, he has a drifting school for cars. Yeah. And, when he went around that corner on a slide, I mean, that was a very dangerous move because if he hits the curb, it might flip the car because he's going so fast and sideways. And he did it, I don't know, 10 times in a row, which when he was like that far from the curb and just nailed it every time. It was something to see. So it really comes down to very, very talented people.
You haven't seen me drive. That's my normal driving.
I'd love to see it, by the way.
And by the way, camera strings are made for it as well.
Doing that supercar, and you tell me you can do it that way. So,
actually, they put me on a like a pan to do donuts in an M6 BMW M6.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do one donut, let alone
You've got to switch the traction control off. That's the number one lesson.
So the movie is really based around the fact that that Travis Block has this OCD, and we've noticed that a couple of other movies that you've got sort of similar characters that have these really quirky or what we would consider sort of out of the norm, but really, a lot of people do have this. I mean, you've got the accountant where I think the main character has Asperger's,
and that's true. And obviously, I'm looking for layers on character and how to humanize them. And I really wanted to find a layer to him because everything we've seen Liam in before, for the most part, for his action movies, he's the Taken guy who just kicks ass and can do anything. But as a human, he's broken in this one, and that was the difference. Is like, well, how do you demonstrate that other than just talking about it? Because you could just say, "Hey, he's a broken guy." But I wanted a physical manifestation that you could see. And so, in looking at what that could be, OCD is actually a very interesting one if you dig deep into it, because, you can't control it, even though it seems sort of odd and you're doing it, but you still need to do it to appease whatever your inner self is. And so, for me, it was a very interesting way to look at it. And I think we all have little bits of let's say OCD in us for certain things, and so it may be amplified for certain people, but obviously, to a level here, and using the accountant as the extreme example, is not OCD, but Asperger's or, the autism spectrum, that's the more extreme version, and that, he can't, but we had to play in that one. We had to play within the rules of, he can only do what somebody with Asperger's would do. And so in this case, I really wanted to focus on somebody that, that was able to manifest his guilt from all those years of doing what he's been doing, Travis Block, that he, it comes out in an unusual way.
I think the accuracy to the condition is actually really, really important because, geeks all around the world who often display some of these type of attributes within their personality or within their psychological makeup, they'd pull it apart if it wasn't accurate. Like the accountant and his Asperger's, like Liam and his OCD, particularly also the other layer that I picked up on was the way that OCD and his passion about things and all that sort of stuff impacts his relationships and his ability to function in those relationships. I think that accuracy is really key.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you were referring to the accountant with the relationships or with Travis Block, but it applies to both, really.
Both, yeah.
And they're different they're different conditions, but basically, they both cause you harm in some way, or don't allow you to do what you really want to do. And so it's a challenge to yourself, and I think that we're all challenged by something, but his is manifesting itself in an interesting way to at least watch.
Now, we haven't got long left, so there was a couple of really quick questions. The first one, just out of this movie, we sort of found, just watching it, that it really made me question what I know, and I think especially in this day and age when there's so much, we're getting bombarded with so much media. Like, is that a real central theme to especially other movies that you've done as well, like questioning what you know?
I mean, I guess I'm not trying to make a political statement one way or the other with that, but I think it's really about not. There's black, there's white, and there's gray in the middle, and we all really live in the gray in the middle, right? I mean, as much as we want to say, "Hey, I'm doing the right thing all the time," you're not, and or I'm a bad guy. You're not completely bad human being, right? But really, it's just about having that sense of right and wrong, and taking and sticking to it and having your passion for it. But everybody's going to have different opinions one way or the other, and that's just the reality of politics, of life. We've it got even worse while I was prepping and shooting this and editing this movie between the BLM and the election in the U.S. and the vaccines and everything else. So it all kind of came to a head, and I wrote that a year and a half before that ever happened.
Yeah, wow.
In fact, quick funny story on January 7th in Australia, I was shooting the opening scene with the rally, and that was January 6th, 2021 in Washington, D.C. So I woke up to seeing those images the same day.
Wow.
Same day I was shooting that scene. So it kind of gave me a perspective on, oh, wow, this is what it could turn into.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
Well, look, Mark Williams, thank you so much for joining us on Bad Boys Podcast. It's a fantastic movie. You've done a fantastic job. Looking forward to The Accountant 2, which I believe you're in the middle of doing now.
That's correct. Working on it.
So, thanks for joining us on the show.
No, well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it very much.
We'll be back to wrap up the Bad Boys Podcast right after this.
You ever been cruising down the main street with your mates only to be laughed at by the gorgeous girls passing you by? Well, maybe you need to get your own ride and leave your mum's Camry at home. Turning your cruising dreams into a reality has never been easier than it is now with Iconic Motorhouse. Regular draws, limited numbers, and access to special and unique deals from over 4,500 popular brands. They don't do Camrys, they only give away real men's cars, eye-catching cars that'll get them purring like a pussycat. So don't be a turkey. Go to iconicmotorhouse.com, choose how many tickets you want, and for a limited time, they'll increase your odds. It's never been easier to win a customised showpiece that will get their attention. iconicmotorhouse.com, giving you the opportunity to fulfill your motoring fantasy.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast.
Welcome back to the Bad Boys Podcast. And look, what a great guy. It was great chatting with Mark Williams.
Incredible guy, yeah. I loved chatting with him, and I loved how everything that he has been doing sort of brings in people that are a little bit quirky, a little bit different.
Yeah.
And even like, I was thinking about Ozarks.
Yeah.
Right? Even the character that Jason Bateman has, that Jason Bateman plays, is quirky, interesting, just a little bit different.
And his wife, the development of the character of his wife as well, over time, she's getting badder and badder and badder. The kids
she's definitely got the dark
as
side.
Well are developing in the thing. And, now his son's laundering money for the enemy as well. Like, it's just fabulous. It's just...
I know, crazy. There's something I want to ask, actually, Andrew. So, like, you figured out that the chase scene was in Canberra.
Yeah, he was chasing the bad guy who was driving the dump truck. Yes, I did. We figured it out quite quickly. In fact, we were watching it, and I said to Michelle, "Oh wow, that's the bottom end of the Canberra city there, where I used to work in that building." And Michelle, yeah, me
there's
too.
waving outside the window.
Yeah, they're sitting there going, hello, Liam, give me an interview. Yeah, look, it was great to see the space. It's a good space that they filmed it in. Actually, good little circuit as you described it.
Isn't it great that they're still, like, even with everything going on, you know, with lockdowns and mandates and all that sort of stuff, like, we were still able to film films here, and we've still got, you know, Hollywood knocking on our door.
I think it's fabulous. Look, I think Australia's got a lot to offer when it comes to the movie industry. We've got a lot of people that are very serious and very passionate about it as well. We've got space. We've got we've got the setup and all that sort of stuff. I think Australia's going to be doing a lot of big things. And more to the point, we're actually cheaper when you're talking about the Australian dollar in comparison to other currencies like the US dollar. We're a lot cheaper to actually film over here as well. So I think that's a really good thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, something that's not cheap is owning a personal jet,
right?
Apparently.
Yeah, not cheap at all.
Yeah.
You can't – yes, those things – people think you just buy it. And you park it like a car and stuff like that. But the servicing on this, you've got to have a crew to fly the thing. The maintenance on it is through the roof. And, of course, the fuel costs are just nuts.
And then you've got these snotty little teenagers, right, who are building websites that are tracking plane movements. Now, there's a story that's come out, right, which you probably know a little bit more about, but apparently there's a teenager that has 127 web pages to track all of these private planes.
Yeah, so I think they're like Twitter accounts. And what they do is they track the planes and then inform people, basically. So anybody can go there and find out where Jeff Bezos is flying to and where he's landing and what the plane's doing and all this sort of stuff. Elon Musk, his plane is tracked, and all effectively these rich and famous people all have their planes being tracked. Well, as it turns out, Elon Musk has offered the teenager $5,000 to take the one down that relates to Elon's plane.
Right. And as a teenager, right, fuck, $5,000.
$5,000 as a teenager would be like winning the lotto. However,
I know.
It is literally like Elon Musk offering a rice bubble.
Yeah, because this little shit.
Not a fucking packet of rice bubbles. That's like winning the gold as well. But one fucking rice bubble is effectively $5,000 for Elon. Honestly, I reckon it'd take Elon probably about a second and a half to earn $5,000.
And this little shit's gone, actually, $5,000 not enough for me. I reckon I can get $50,000 from Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And $50,000 from Jeff. In fact, I've got 127 pages, right?
Yep.
I could get $50,000 for each of them.
That's about $6.35 million this kid's on an earner for.
$6.35 million. Yeah.
You know, Elon doesn't want the world knowing where his plane's going to go and where it's going to land and all that sort of stuff. So it's fair enough. But $50,000, Elon, I reckon he'd pay $50,000. Absolutely, he'd pay $50,000. I mean, $50,000 to him is literally like buying a stamp for most people.
Now, I should mention that the teenager is actually a woman.
Oh, that's awesome! Go girl, rock on.
Yeah. She said she responded to Elon and said, "Well, actually, look, $50,000 will help me get through college. So, how about you give me that?"
Right. Interesting.
So she's got a page which you can find on Twitter, and it's called, because I don't think it's down yet, it's called Elon Musk's Jet.
Right.
And it actually shows the flight path.
Yeah, right. And look, you know what? Good on her. Seriously, good on her. I mean, she's found something that nobody else is obviously doing. I mean, the data is there. You've just got to know where to find it. Yeah. I mean, you can go to any number of plane apps and track all the planes in the sky. They're not off.
Yeah. She's just using public. She's using public knowledge.
Yeah, right. Publicly available information. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So she's done this for 127 private people.
Right.
That's gold.
So okay, she may get Elon to pay her through college and stuff, but she might be able to also buy herself a luxury penthouse apartment in Manhattan for the process as well. Why not?
Why not? I mean, like, I mean, okay, I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm traveling around. The paparazzi probably know where I am anyway.
Yep.
But how invasive would it feel for you knowing that your plane's touching down, and there's actually a map of that happening on Twitter right now.
Right.
People are going, it's landing in Texas. Flight time has been 25 minutes.
I don't disagree. I reckon it is a security concern, particularly for the likes of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all that sort of stuff. And I reckon that they would be willing to pay a lot more money than just even $50K. Yeah. And if she can get some of them to pay up, you know what? Good luck to her. The thing is someone else is just going to do exactly the same thing and try and extort the money as well. I'm not saying she is trying to extort, because she's not. He offered her, and she's just gone, actually, no, you need to up the price a bit, buddy.
She kind of is. I mean, she's kind of gone, well, I want to get through college, so...
Yeah, no, look, he put an amber claim on the table. She's just negotiating. That's all that's going.
That's right. It's all the negotiation.
Right, but what stops someone else doing exactly the same thing? Once she sells it to him, who's to say you and I don't go and create one as well?
Yeah. You and I are negotiating right now. Like, everything is negotiation.
Right.
I'm negotiating with you as to which one of us is cooler.
Well, no, there's no negotiation.
Which one of us is funnier?
There's no negotiation there either. Which one of us has smaller lips? That's pretty easy.
No, my mum always said...
I don't want to know about your mum's lips, mate. Seriously. No, like, just don't go.
Actually, no, what is with that? What's with that, right? So, okay, when I split up from my first wife, my mother turns around and the only thing she said was, well, you know what I always say, never trust a woman with thin lips.
Seriously?
Like, what does that even mean?
I do not know. I do not know.
And couldn't you have told me this before I got married?
Yeah, it's funny how people suddenly tell you when you leave your wife or something like that, or your relationship breaks up, or, you know, whatever, she leaves you for that matter. They go, I never really liked her. It's like, so what have you been doing for the last fucking 10 years? Lying to me?
I know. Then I shaved my beard off and looked in the mirror and went, oh my God, I've got thin lips. And I do.
You don't even have lips.
I do have lips.
You don't have lips. Like, literally, your skin goes to the edge and then it's suddenly your mouth. There's no lips there.
It's because the beard covers it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, now make sure you head over to our social media and our website to win 5 double passes to see Blacklight, thanks to Rialto.
Is this where we point out we took like 6 takes just to get that right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's just, all right. And don't forget to go to badboysfm.com to catch some bloody great music and have a good bloody laugh. The best radio station around the world, taking the world by storm, as it turns out. Our numbers are increasing every single week. And you can be a part of that phenomenon.
It is a phenomenon. What a phenomenon.
What a phenomenon.
And if you want to win a double pass to see Blacklight starring Liam Neeson, which is screening at the cinemas now, thanks to Rialto Distribution. Hey, and also big shout out to the guys for organising that interview with Mark Williams. What a cracker, and what a great guy too.
Yeah. Good times, mate. Good times.
Head over to our website, enter the competition, and join us on our social media pages where you can watch cat memes.
All right, I'm going to go back and start drinking. It's Friday afternoon and I'm...
See you guys. Yeah, likewise. See you guys. Press plus or follow to hear more great episodes from the Bad Boys. Or check us out on our social media at Official Bad Boys Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram.
That's awesome. Done. Like a dinner.